Hey guys, what is up? It's Xerx, and in today's video I want to discuss crafting. Obviously crafting is one that the community is always asking for, how to go about it, how new players find their feet in the crafting world in Albion. So in today's video I'm going to break it down into a lot of different sections and what will help you progress in crafting and making money. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, you're going to need some materials. Now materials you can either go out into the wild and gather yourself. This can involve going into the black zone, gathering T5 and above materials there, and then transporting them back to either, a hideout, or transporting them back to the royal continent where you're going to in turn craft them. Now with gathering, it's a huge time sink. So if you're going to focus on crafting alone, try and find either gatherers that will trade with you directly, buy them from the market, or alternatively, which I use myself, is I get a lot of my raw resources back from laborers that I use on guild islands and personal islands. So if you haven't seen, I have a guide on laborers. Go over and check it out and see how I get a lot of my raw resources back just by doing laborers. So once you have your materials, obviously crafting is the next viable option. Now there's a few, I suppose, things that go into crafting that you need to be aware of, which will bonus or benefit your crafting in some way. So the first thing is specialization in your destiny board. Now, just like any of the weapons or any of the armor in Albion, everything will upgrade and you get spec nodes in those items. So if you take, say, plate boots, which I'm focusing on now at the moment, as you skill up or as you keep creating more and more and more, you're gaining fame from creating these items, which will then give you spec up to 100. Now, like any of the weapon trees, you can spec up to 100 in all 4 different trees or different nodes, which will increase then the quality, but also decrease the amount of focus that is needed when it comes to crafting. So you have the base and then you have the nodes spreading out. So the 4 different types of, say, plate boots that you can do. So always keep that in mind. I found myself when I started crafting, I was focusing on too many items at once, where really the money is being made by focusing on one. If you find an item that you're happy with, just focus on that node and just constantly keep making whatever it may be, whether it be spears, weapons, boots, anything like that. Just focus on trying to get that up because it will benefit you in the long run. So if you take this specialization, the reason this is so important is because when you're crafting, what you're trying to do is create better quality items. So you have quality from normal anywhere up to masterpiece, and what this will do is increase the item power of that item you've just crafted by a little bit, depending on the quality that comes out the far side. Something alongside item quality is obviously enchantment, which I just want to touch on briefly. Enchantments in Albion can either be done by the raw resources, so you have enchanted materials already, or you can enchant an item at the artifact foundry. Again, it's probably not the most cost effective way if you're trying to make money. It can be sometimes, but you need to check yourself. So similar to item quality that adds item power, you're using this enchantment to also add item power to the items that you're crafting. So if you take a tier 4 flat piece, you have 700 item power as a base value. Now if I was to create a 4.1 piece, that value of 700 would jump up to 800. If I was to do a 4.2, it would jump to 900, and a 4.3 would jump to 1000 item power for that item. So it's a 4.3 item, but it's 1000 item power. Now that's the equivalent to a tier 7 item. So keep this in mind when you're looking at the markets and looking for stuff to make, that you could be selling either 0.2s or 0.3s in a market that people are looking for. Another thing that you should be benefiting from, which a lot of new players overlook or simply don't know about, is city bonuses. Now every city in the royal continent has a bonus to certain items when you're crafting them. So if I take Martlock for example, Martlock has a bonus towards axes, quarterstaffs, frost staffs, plate shoes and offhand items. So that means I should be crafting any of those items in this city and nowhere else. And what this means is when I create, say, plate shoes, instead of getting 15.2% of my raw resources back, I have a 24.8% chance now in a city with a bonus. If I was to use focus, instead of 43.5% base, I would have a 47.9% if I use it in a bonus city. So make sure that you're always crafting the items that you want to craft in the cities. Another way to find all the bonuses click into the city, and up on the right hand corner under where the resources normally show, there's a little drop down arrow, and when you click on that you will be able to see the local production bonuses and what it will give you. So while we're on the topic of cities, most of your crafting will be done on the crafting stations within these. These are owned by other players. You can reach out to these players if you are crafting quite a substantial amount and see can you get on their associate fees to get the lower tax bracket. Now, other ways around this is you could craft, if you're in a guild that has hideouts, you could craft in the black zone, which will also give you bonuses. But then you have the risk of trying to get your materials or your items back to the Royal Continent to sell. So it's up to you, do you want that risk and reward? One question I keep getting asked is, why don't you have crafting benches on your own island? Now the reason being is you don't have any city bonuses, you don't have any bonus at all. You also need to build the crafting benches and also feed your crafting benches. So you're losing money in the long term, and I would suggest against it, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, so you've grabbed your materials, you're in a city with the bonus, that the item you're going to create. So next thing I do before I go to a crafting station is I grab journals. Now, if I was crafting plate boots, for example, I would grab blacksmith journals, obviously of the same tier. So if I'm crafting tier 5 items, I would have my tier 5 blacksmith journals, but also grab generalist trophy journals of the same tier. The reason being is when you craft or refine or do anything out, that generates fame, you can fill these journalist trophy books, and those books are then used to power level laborers on other people's islands, so they do sell. So what I would have is both of these empty journals in my backpack before I craft, so keep that in mind. So once you have your journals, the next thing you want to grab is food. So by the very least, you want to take potato salads with you, and what that will do is it will increase your crafting speed, but also your item quality that comes out. So as we discussed earlier, item quality is very important to make money, so always have food on you. So if I click into the crafting station here, I have my journals. So I have my generalist trophy journal, I have my blacksmith journal, and I'm going to create some demon boots with 0.1 titanium steel bars. So I have the artifact, the demonic filling, which is used for the boots also. And when I click in here, you'll see the city bonus and how it works. So the soldier armor here has no bonus in the city, and the base resource return rate is 15%. If I click on the demon boots, it then jumps up to 24.8%, and if I was to use focus, it's going to jump up further. So that's what I want to do. I want to use focus to try and increase the quality. Now if you see here, crafting with focus increases resource return rate and increases the chance to produce higher quality item. While you have premium active, focus recovers over time even when you are offline. So using this focus will increase the quality, and that's what we're trying to do. So by using this, I'm going to use my potato salad here. So I need to get off my mount, so it runs down here. And when I use my potato salad, I'm going to have a buff up the top. So if I use it here, for example, so I've just used it, you can see it improves the crafting speed and quality of my items. So I'll go back in here, I'll go down to the demon boots, click on 0.1, make all of them, use focus, so I have the 47.9%. Now it doesn't return any of these, but then I craft, I'm going to pay the tax, and there we go, I've crafted them. Now because I haven't got a huge spec, all I have done is created good quality demon boots, so I haven't created anything of significant item power increase, but it's still a good one all the same. You can also see I've filled 3 blacksmith journals, and I've got almost a generalist trophy journal filled just off 4 boots alone. Now if I was to do a lot more, you would fill these journals pretty fast, and again you can go on to sell those on the market. So just as another example of how it all works, again, up your potato salad, you will then get your buff, go into the crafting table here, click on the guardian boots. Now this version I'm just going to create guardian boots for the sake of the video. Use your focus, how many you want, and then the resource return rate and the potato salad is going to yield me back. So it creates the 10. Obviously I can create more because I've got 47.9% resource return rate. Pay it again. We'll see how many we can make. There we go. And another one. There we go. I was going to be able to create 10 boots. Now you can see that I've created way more than 10 boots. And all of different qualities. So I have a normal quality there, I have an outstanding quality here, an excellent quality, and a good quality. So these are the different categories: normal, good, outstanding, and excellent. So you can see that item power again. when you're crafting. Now there's nothing special about these, just all I've done is use the focus, use the potato salad, and it's given me better quality boots because of my specialization. Now I filled some journals there. I filled the 3 blacksmith journals that I had, and also I have filled a generous trophy journal. So the last thing I want to go over for crafting is when it comes to selling, you will be charged a tax for selling on the markets. Now if I click through this and sell directly to a buy order, I'm going to get charged 3% premium tax because I have a premium account, or if I was to create a sell order, I'm going to get charged the 3% plus the 1.5% setup fee. So again, take that into consideration when you're buying materials and selling materials, that you need that margin extra because you're going to get charged the tax on selling. So guys, that's my crafting guide. I hope you have found it very informative and it gives you a step up in the crafting world within Albion. If you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing, liking, and if you do have any comments or you want to know any more, please leave the comment below and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.